Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of the SEO Club. We have got amazing Greg, who I've got massive pleasure of meeting at Brighton and watching his speech, and I was absolutely thrilled by him because not only he is one of the best experts ever for local SEO, he is as well a showman. So when he talks, you listen, and he leaves you with emotion that makes you not forget what he talked. And I was really taken by his speech, so I'm really thrilled that
Oh,
he accepted
stop.
my invitation. No, true, absolute true. Sadly, we don't have your slides with all the amazing movies there, but you are a movie
I
person
got
as
all the
well,
movies on
right?
my hands and arms, though, so we can, just use
Yes, we
those
can
as
talk.
I'm talking.
Yes, like this one. What is it? But just which one is your favorite movie? Does that even exist?
See, okay, I get this question all the time, and being as much of a movie nerd as I am, it's an impossible question to answer because you almost have to separate by genre because you
Yes.
can't really compare science fiction to comedy to rom-com to action. So it's really hard to say, this is my absolute most favorite movie ever in the history of all movies, but oh man, if I
This
really
way,
had to pick
if
one.
you had one left space on your body for a movie, which one would it be? Which tattoo would it be?
Oh, see, I don't know. I haven't planned that far ahead. So I'm working on my left leg right now. My left leg is all horror movie stuff, so it's going to be all horror
Oh,
movie villains. And then my chest is going to be Indiana Jones. And then my back I have not planned yet. So I have a lot of space left to do stuff. I think if I really had to say this particular movie is my favorite movie of all time, I would probably say They Live.
okay. Well, I don't know that one. I'll look it up. I'll Google it.
It's a great John Carpenter film from the 80s. It has the best fist fight ever committed to film because it's very realistic because they get tired really quickly, but they're still trying to fight. It's got the best movie quote in the history of movie quotes, which is, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. It's a stellar movie.
I'll definitely check that out. Fantastic. And now to our topic. It's local SEO. We recently had an international SEO, so we know what that is. And now I will ask you to shortly introduce what is local SEO. And if you want, you can introduce yourself, but I don't think anyone from our people watching this will not know you. You are a huge name. So, but if you want, you can introduce yourself shortly. We know that you love SEO, you love marketing, you love speaking, you love movies. So shortly that, and then what is local SEO shortly, and what is not
Yeah.
local SEO?
So anybody who is watching or listening and doesn't know who I am, I'm Greg Gifford, the Chief Operating Officer at SearchLab Digital. We're a boutique digital marketing agency in the US, and I am lucky enough to get to speak at conferences all over the world because people like my style. I'm, like you said, I'm a little more entertaining
I
on
love
stage,
your
I
style. I
suppose.
love
And
your style.
I just, back when I started speaking and going to conferences, there's kind of this spectrum. And on one end of the spectrum, you have the people that are incredibly entertaining to watch. But when you finish their presentation, there's not really anything that you can take away
Mm.
to improve your job or help your job. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the super nerdy, really smart people that give you amazing information that will drastically improve what you do at work. But it's like watching paint dry to listen to them
Oh yeah,
present on stage because they're just
very
not good
painful.
at public speaking. I wanted to split it right in the middle. I wanted to be very actionable and give helpful information, but I also wanted to be entertaining and fun and, show people a good time. So I kind of tried to do all of that together. But to answer the local SEO question, a lot of people don't realize that there's not just a single algorithm that Google uses. Google has a separate algorithm for results that have or for results that are served to queries that have local intent. So if Google assesses that that user is searching and they're really searching for something in their immediate local area, even if they don't specify it with a phrase like near me or nearby or with a city or neighborhood, Google understands they still want to get that from nearby, and it uses the local algorithm instead of the traditional algorithm. And a lot of the things are this kind of the same elements that the algorithm evaluates, like the content on your site and how it's optimized and links that point to your site. But the weights are different, and the way that the algorithm evaluates content you have to optimize differently for the local algorithm than you do for the traditional algorithm. And with local SEO, there are additional signals you don't have to worry about with traditional SEO, like the Google business profile for the business and customer reviews for the business. So it's a little bit more complex. And another thing that makes it harder is with the traditional algorithm, if you rank number one, you rank number one everywhere across the entire planet. With local SEO, if you rank number one, you only rank number one in one particular geographic area. And you may not even consistently rank number one in that area because the searcher's location in reality, their physical location in the real world, affects the search results that they're going to see because of the proximity of the search result to the searcher has a lot of influence in what's going to be displayed as well. So it's really complex and it's been around for years, but people didn't really catch on to it for quite a while. And now it's kind of becoming more popular and more people are understanding, oh, I actually need to be doing this instead of regular SEO.
All right. So it is actually extremely complex. SEO on its own is extremely complex, but local SEO seems to have an extra layer of headache, of SEO
Yes.
headache to it.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest mistake you have seen being done, the crime against local SEO? What is the thing that people think like, oh, this is going to help us rank, and in the end it is completely wrong?
I think the biggest mistake, it's not actually completely wrong, but the biggest mistake that people make with local SEO is they think they need to do regular traditional SEO and then just add on some stuff with their Google business profile. And they don't realize it's a different way of creating content, a different way of writing content, a different way of optimizing, a different way of building links. A lot of people don't realize that you should include reputation management and reviews as part of that cohesive SEO strategy. It's literally just, I've read all this stuff or learned all this stuff about SEO. I'm just going to add on this Google business profile stuff. And hey, I'm doing local SEO. And it's much, much more than that. But beyond that, I think the biggest mistake that people make is they don't really understand how the algorithm works. And so you'll see businesses that will, in their title tag, in their H1 heading, in their content, they will say, hey, here's this business. It's Greg's underwater basket weaving studio serving customers in Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio. And they just list off multiple cities thinking that having multiple cities listed in a title tag in an H1 or 15 cities listed in a comma separated list on your homepage will get you to rank in those cities. And it doesn't work that way. That's not how the algorithm works. And that's the most common thing that we see being done wrong on websites.
Does adding near me to the title or to the website itself help score for the near me? Restaurant near me, the joke like this person took local SEO to their heart and called the restaurant near me. Does that help, or is that utter mistake?
It can help in certain situations, but most of the time it doesn't. So the situations where it does help, you're searching for something in an area where there's not a lot of competition. I have a podcast as well, and the kind of the running joke on our podcast is that we want to have a business example that we can consistently use in every episode when we're talking about these types of situations where there's just not much competition. And so the joke is that I have an underwater basket weaving studio in Dallas, Texas. You don't have to really put near me in a situation like that because you're the only option, right? So anyone searching near me, you're going to show up. Anyone not searching near me, you're going to show up because you're literally the only thing that matches the intent of that search query. In that case, you don't need to put near me. Can you? Sure, but it's ineffective. It's not making you show up for that search because you're literally the only person in town that does that thing. Now, if there is a significant number of competitors, it absolutely doesn't matter, because when someone searches for keyword phrase near me, they are explicitly telling Google that their intent is to find businesses that sell what they're looking for, that are physically close to them in the real world based on their physical location of where they are when they do the search. So you're not going to show up in the map pack, at least for a near me search, unless you're physically close to that person. Putting near me on the page doesn't help with that. Plus, it looks weird because, like, we work with a lot of car dealers, and car dealers will try it. and they'll say something on the page like, are you looking for an oil change near me? Well, then you can come to us and blah, 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 blah. But you're switching who you're talking to there. You're saying near me. And if you're on your website saying near me, you mean near the business, not near the customer. It would say near you for the person that's reading it to make sense. So it doesn't make sense. Now, the few edge cases where it does matter, let's say you're in a more rural area and there might be one or two other competitors in a town that's like nearby. But if you put near me on your page, you're not really that close to them, but you still might be able to show up organically for that search. And you may be able to even show up in the map pack if there's just not a lot of competition. If you got one basket weaving studio here and one basket weaving studio here, and someone is at another place that is fairly close to both, it might help you show up a little bit. But in most cases, the times that it helps, it's really going to help in the organic area below the map pack. In the map pack is so based on real world location and proximity. Putting near me on the page is really going to be a waste of time.
Okay, so near me, it's not a keyword to use because it is actually tracking you where you are and what's near you. It's a part of algorithm. It's not playing with a keyword. It's not calling best SEO services near me. It's not going to win it when we are
Yeah,
not
I mean,
near
like,
you.
exactly. Like, if we're talking about, you do gambling in casinos. Let's say I'm looking for a casino near me, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. There aren't casinos in Texas. So if I search casino near me, what it's going to show are casinos in Oklahoma, because I can drive an hour and 20 minutes north, cross the border, and go to an Indian reservation casino. Well, that's going to show up as near me because it's physically the closest to me. A casino in Las Vegas or a casino in Louisiana could put casino near me on their page. That's not going to help them show up for me because I'm not near them. Even though they've got it on the page, they're probably not even going to show up organically because Las Vegas is a 3.5 hour flight away from me. That's not near me. It's not going to show up. Even the guys in Oklahoma that are the nearest casinos to me, not really going to matter for them to do that, right? Because Google's going to display the things that are nearest to me. Now, where it might matter is, you've got like WinStar is the really big one that's close to us. It's one of the biggest reservation casinos in the U.S. That one is for sure most likely going to show up at the top of the map pack because it is the most relevant. It's the closest one to me. It's also going to have a lot of SEO because they're a really big casino. But there's other smaller casinos in the same area that may not show up, but they could put up a page that says casino near me. And while they wouldn't show in the map pack at the top of the results, potentially they could show up organically. But is it even worth doing that? Because, again, this is where people lose the forest for the trees. They're so worried about showing up for a near me search that they try to optimize with the phrase near me. And they're not thinking about the fact that my intent as a user searching for casino near me or dry cleaner near me or plastic surgeon near me or dentist near me, my intent is I explicitly said I want something that's close to where I'm standing or sitting right now. If you show up in organic below the map pack, I'm not even looking at organic. Sure, maybe you can do it. Maybe you can show up, but does that get you any more customers? Absolutely not, because that user's intent is to find something physically nearby. You can't go to the website and figure that out without some additional work. People are lazy. They want immediate answers. They're going to go to the map pack or they're going to go to Google Maps and they're going to look at the dots and see what's closest to them. And they're going to go to the ones that are close because that's literally what they asked for. So there are a lot of people out there that do local SEO that say you can't optimize for near me because you're not going to show up in the map pack, but you'll show up in organic. So do it. And it's great. And I'm kind of like, who cares? Because those people want to find something close to them. They're only going to look at the map pack. So what's the point?
Very true. It's like optimizing for something and adding it there because you can be on position 35 because
Yeah.
everybody cares to go to page 4 and find you on position 35. So it's redundant because we are right. When we're looking for restaurant or dentist, we just look at their click on the map, potentially to the business review, see what's the phone number, call and be done. So yeah.
Yeah.
So don't waste your time with near me if you are doing local SEO. What are the, like you mentioned, business reputation online services? So reviews, basically.
Yep.
We are trying to actually do that in iGaming, because on Trustpilot, a lot of people get bad reviews that they didn't get pay up in time, or that
Yep.
the casino is trying fine not to pay them, or whatever. A lot of them get good reviews as well. But if you have bad ones, we're trying to sort of trick that by creating more users and fake those reviews. So, this is something we can learn from you. Is there a way to do this better, or is this something we should not be doing at all because Google is going to tell us, we know it's fake?
Yeah, no, Google definitely is trying to fight review spam, and they have rolled out a new alert in the United Kingdom, and it is active right now. It is highly likely that this will roll out to the rest of the world. This isn't a test, this is something that is permanent in the UK. So we should all make the assumption it's going to roll out to the rest of the world at some point early next year. And they literally will detect if you're creating fake reviews. And if you are, they will remove all the reviews that they've detected are fake, and they will go in and put a little alert on your Google Business Profile that says, hey, we've removed some suspicious reviews from this profile. And then if you are at, who knows what the line is, but if you cross the line and do it too much, they'll actually turn reviews off for that business, so you're not able to get reviews. Now with iGaming, you wouldn't be allowed to have a Google Business Profile, because to be eligible for a business profile, you have to do business with customers face to face. So it would have to be a physical casino to be able to have a business profile. But creating other reviews online, I'm not sure what the laws are in Europe or the rest of the world, but for sure in the US, it is, as of 4 or 5 weeks ago, the Federal Trade Commission updated the laws around reviews, and in the U.S., it is now illegal at a federal level to write fake reviews for a business. So it's
Mm.
either, so as a business, it is illegal to have fake reviews on your profile, even if you didn't actively do it. It's illegal. But friends or family leaving reviews is illegal. Fake reviews is illegal. Selling or buying fake reviews is illegal. So yeah, it can get shady. I'm sure that there are similar laws in the EU related to
Most
fake
likely.
reviews. Uh, but does that mean you're going to get caught? Yeah, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But at the same time, what we always like to do, like I was talking to a potential client that we might work with this morning, and I was looking at their reviews, and it was a car dealership, and they send out mailers to everyone, and it's kind of it's in Iowa, so it's a little bit more rural. It's not a big city, so they send mailers out to all the surrounding towns to try to get people to come in. And this mailer says, hey, there's this contest and blah 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 blah, and I don't really know the details, but apparently they send out some mailer, and if you call the number, they tell you you win. So then you have to go to the dealership to get what you won, and you win $1,000. But then you show up and you find out that, oh, well, you sent out all the mailer, and one person wins $1,000, and 5 people win headphones, and then like 100 people win a $10 Starbucks gift card or something. And so people get the mailer that's like, you could win $1,000, and then there's like a little kind of small print thing at the bottom that says only one person wins this, and your chances are blah 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 blah. But nobody sees that. So now they're getting a ton of bad reviews saying, hey, look, they're pulling a bait and switch. I called the number, it said that I won, I showed up, and they gave me a gift card. And then the review response, they're saying, well, if you read the rules say only one person wins. And the customers don't care. The customers feel cheated. And so we look at patterns like that. And if you can see a consistent pattern of you're getting a lot of bad reviews because of this one thing, like we literally told them on the call, stop doing the mailer. And they're like, but then people call and we know the mailer works because people called us. And I'm like, but you're getting bad reviews. That's going to make you not show up as well in Google search. And people are going to stop buying from you because they don't trust you because you're doing the shady thing. Put a QR code on it and give them something like $10 off an oil change that you can afford to give, instead of trying to cheat all these people by making them think they won $1,000 when they didn't. So same thing. If you have these iGaming sites that are getting bad reviews because they're not paying out the winnings fast enough, 1 or 2 times here or there, okay, no big deal. But if you're reading the reviews and you see that consistent pattern of there's a lot of people saying, hey, look, it took months for me to get my payout. What the heck? These guys suck. Don't go to this site. Okay, well then fix your problem. Instead of going and trying to cheat, and create a bunch of fake reviews to bury the bad reviews and keep your score higher, why not instead just pay out faster if that's what people are complaining about? Like, fix the problems with your business instead of trying to continue to cheat. That's usually the easiest thing to do.
I'm with you, but sadly, it doesn't work like that. A lot of people simply going
Yeah.
to cheat. And I would be really happy if there is a something, algorithm, Google, whoever, God, that stops them from doing that. Because if you go through the reviews, you see like bad, 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 bad. And suddenly, from this 1 star on Trustpilot, 4 of them with 5 stars. What a great place it is. I mean, it's obvious, but many times they
Well,
don't.
but see,
They
that's the
don't care.
thing. It is obvious. And the businesses never really consider the fact that their customers are not as ignorant as the business thinks they are. It's just you and I can both look at that pattern and go, oh, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. Oh, here's 5 5 stars, and then 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. Okay, clearly those 5 star reviews are not legitimate. Whether they had a friend or a family member leave it, or whether they bought it, or whether they just faked it themselves. The general public can see that too. The general public's pretty smart, and they're going to look and go, oh, and all these bad reviews, and all the bad reviews again have the same pattern, say the same consistent things. And then there's a couple of good reviews. I mean, people do this on Amazon too. You see Amazon reviews of like horrible reviews, and then 5 or 6 or 10 good ones, and then another batch of horrible reviews, and all the horrible reviews say the same thing, and the good ones are like, I don't know why everybody says this thing sucks. It's really awesome. Like, come on. People can figure that stuff out, and the business and the leadership, the C-suite, they're like, oh yeah, cool, we're burying the bad reviews, great. And they're not taking the time to think, is this really helping us, or is it just making it look worse?
Absolutely. We are facing these problems all the time. And I'm very happy that we are finding some crosses between the local SEO and the gambling, which I didn't actually think we're going to find. But yes, I'm with you. And this is a
There's a
massive
lot.
lesson for
Actually,
everyone.
I did a talk years ago at a conference, and there were some gambling people in the room. And so they were asking questions. And I said, even if you're completely online, local SEO can still matter. Because let's say you're targeting like Las Vegas. This was in the US, so Las Vegas was the clear, thing to talk about because it's just the gambling capital of the US. If you want to show up in Las Vegas for casino Vegas or online betting Vegas or sports betting Vegas, you don't really have to be in Vegas. You can do local SEO. You just create
True.
content on your site about the fact, the content's like, you don't have to actually go to a casino in Vegas. You can sit from the comfort of your own home and gamble on our site, but the entire page is optimized around casino in Vegas or sportsbook Vegas or whatever. And sure, there are a lot of casinos that are going to do that. But if you do really good SEO and you've got a really smart SEO team, you can start to creep up onto the bottom of page 1 or even page 2. You're still going to get some visibility there. So it's understanding how that local algorithm works so that you can adjust what you're doing. Even though you're all online, you can still try to catch some of the people that are looking for that. This is a little bit of an off-color story, but every time most of the time when I do conferences, when I speak at international conferences, I'm also doing the master class training the day before the conference, and it's an all-day training class for local SEO. And in like 2015, 2016, I was doing one of those in London, and there were 2 people in the room that worked for porn companies. And they were actually, it was kind of ended up being funny because they were the 2 biggest competitors. I don't even remember what they were, but whatever at the time, the 2 biggest porn sites in the world both had their head of SEO come to my training class for local SEO, and they don't have a physical location. But what they were looking for was to try to compete with all of the like escort and brothel sites where those things are legal. And if someone is going to, and I don't even, where's like Amsterdam red light district, right? I don't know where else you would go for that because like that's not my thing. But wherever you might have that situation, you could create content around red light district Amsterdam or brothel Amsterdam or whatever the term is that people search for if they're looking for that thing, and potentially get some business there, even though you're an online service and you're like, hey, if you can't find your person, come watch our videos instead. And I was kind of surprised that they were thinking that way, but they get really advanced and they try to find But it's very much like, and they actually explained it's very much like iGaming. Like, it's, you want to get every user you can to come to you, because every user that you can get is a little bit more money, and all of it adds up. So I think it's very much a parallel with online gambling.
Oh, this is very funny. I previously, in those years that you mentioned, work in porn and escort as an SEO. And
I
I
was
did all
blown
of those
away. I was kind of
tactics.
like, this is really bizarre that A, anyone in here is thinking that way, but B, apparently two
I did that.
massive, humongous competitors had the same idea, not knowing that the other one was going to do it. And they both ended up in my training class at the same time. I was kind of like, oh, this is a little awkward here, isn't it, guys? And they were like, it's fine, whatever. But
I
yeah, it was
switched to
it was an
gambling in
interesting take.
2016, before I was fully adult, and we did all of those tactics. And for some cities, it worked perfectly, like Vienna, Budapest, that worked perfectly for that. London did very well. So the local tactics work. But where in iGaming we can use it as well is that everybody or most of the places have got their company based somewhere. A lot of them in Malta, and they are looking
Yep.
for staff. They are looking for conferences and everything. And this is where we can apply it. This is
That,
where
very much so. You're
local
very right,
SEO.
because like hiring staff is
Oh,
massively huge, and if you're in Malta and you need people that are local in Malta, maybe you're not using it for the customer facing side of your business, but for your internal processes and your internal teams and hiring, local SEO is exactly what you need.
exactly. And hiring in Malta is impossible because we have got most of the iGaming companies here, and very, very lots of very good people, but everybody's fighting over them. So if they can do better local SEO, I think they can win. And this is the tips. They should watch this
Very
video
much
for
so.
them, because you are sharing them already. As well for conferences, because a lot of conferences are everywhere. iGaming is full of them, and they're trying to optimize and get people to come to their conferences. Wow, wonderful. So thank you for sharing this. What's the next conference we can see you at if we want to see you in person? I know you do a lot, but where is the next one that we get a
Trying
chance?
to cut back, actually. I'm only going to end up speaking at 16 conferences this year, and that's half of what I did 2 years ago. So I did 32 2 years ago. I did 25 last year. I did 16 this year. I'm going to try to stay below 10 next year, but you just told me about a bunch of really cool
Yeah,
places that you
that's
have
not good news
conferences and
for us.
asked me if I'm interested. So I'll
Please.
probably do one or two fun trips there. So we'll see what that number looks like. But I'm actually leaving on Sunday to go to San Diego for the US edition of Brighton SEO in San Diego next week. And I'm doing the local SEO training course all day long on Monday. And then I speak on Wednesday. And then I come home on Friday. And then I leave on Saturday to go speak at a conference in Bali, and so then I'll be in Bali for 3 weeks. So
Oh, well, it's conference
I've
and
I've
holiday.
basically effectively I have today and tomorrow left of work, and then I do not work, like sitting in my office doing my normal day to day routine type of work. I don't do that for a month, so that's going to be kind of nice.
Well, at least you will relax a little bit. I really hope that you will come to some of the iGaming conferences, because
I
I
would
think we
love
can
to.
learn a lot from you. Plus, your spirit, which just in iGaming, we are fun. So I think you will fit in perfectly. We are
Yeah, and
really not looking into anyone, boring us to death with data.
yeah.
So
And then for next year, anybody that's watching, I'm doing Brighton SEO in the UK in April. I'm doing SMX Munich in, obviously, Munich in, I think it's like the second or third week of March. I'm doing Brighton SEO in San Diego again next September. I'm doing Brighton SEO in the UK next October. So those are, at least the two Brightons and SMX Munich at least have me a little bit closer to Malta. It might be a little bit easier for anyone that's watching to come over and see me there. And I do have the training class at Brighton SEO in April for anyone that wants to attend. It's a full day, like 6.5 hours of content that dive really deep into how to do local SEO. So it might be beneficial
fantastic.
for anyone that
I
wants
really
to
hope
join.
that we will get you in one of our conferences. Obviously, we'll be thrilled. So, anyone watching this, watch out, because we're going to get this man to our conferences. I'm thinking I have already few in mind. I'm going to text the organizers right now. Thank you so much for joining us. I really hope I'll see you next year. And I'll wish you beautiful travels. Enjoy your conferences. And lucky people listening to you next few weeks.
Thanks so much for having me on the podcast.
Anytime. Bye. Okay, now it's stopping. Then we